So this was announced yesterday, and as I've said on Twitter, I've been very busy this week, and I I think I'm going to have to end up making a premature return to Twitter, even though I don't want to right now, and I really don't have the time to, but I guess I'll be popping in when I can. And that is to basically make clear some of my statements that I made last night. And I'm actually going to go even further into this. I'm actually thinking about starting to make some YouTube videos for my YouTube channel. And I've been wanting to do that for years, and I kind of have lacked the motivation to do so because I didn't really see the point, but now that I have my Twitter account and people have various, inquiries and they always want to know my opinions on stuff, and now especially with what has become now of the Amazon series, now that we have this official casting, I figured that I would give an official comment on it, and that is to basically say this is exactly what I expected. What I see here, if anyone wasn't expecting this, I was. There were people that were, in my opinion, deluded on both sides, who were thinking that we were going, the Amazon was going to just completely go, derail themselves and make, gay, black, transvestite elves and then there were others that were thinking that they were going to get what they got from Peter Jackson. And neither one of those two things was going to happen. I always knew that Amazon was going to take this specific route with the material that they were given, because you have to understand the nature of the material that they were given from the specific time period that they were from the specific time period that they are covering, and that is the Second Age. And the Second Age and the material that they are going to be having access to, the only material that they have access to, the Tolkien estate has barred them completely from the First Age and the Third Age. They aren't even allowed to touch the Third Age, which is Lord of the Rings. They even said they're not even allowed to go there. We already knew that the First Age was going to be barred to them, but the Third Age is also barred to them. And so I always knew that this was going to be their out, essentially, in that the battle of fighting against the inclusion of diversity into this cast was never going to be won. And that is because Amazon has an out. They always had an out, and they had an out that was based in textual fact. These people do exist in Middle-earth, and they do come in contact with the Númenóreans extensively in the Second Age. And this was something that Amazon was going to actually have to cover, whether or not they, wanted to be subversive about it or not. And technically, whether or not they actually go full subversive has yet to be seen. This isn't, but also this isn't an endorsement of any of this stuff either. I don't actually like any of this stuff. I don't actually like adaptations anymore. I'm actually completely anti-adaptation. In my opinion, Hollywood adaptation has become code word for subversion. And it's not just skin color. It's intention as well. Because a lot of people have brought to my attention that looking at this here, that it is very clear that this is going to be made for a different outlook. That the way that Jackson's 6 movies were made and who those were intended for, this has a completely different intention. I look at this and I do agree with some of the people that have said this looks like it's going to essentially be a teenage soap opera, which I also expected as well. I expected that they were going to cater to a specific youth demographic because these are the people that these television shows are aimed at. I watched one episode of The Witcher. I watched one episode of The Mandalorian. And I knew exactly after watching those shows what exactly this show was going to be about. And I really don't know, what else to say. In my opinion, this stuff is self-evident. And if you've deluded yourself into believing into believing any other thing, I have absolutely no idea why you would. What were you thinking? This has been, and I guess to get back to it, because I know that people are going to constantly bring this up, that I'm trying to fence sit, or I'm trying to make excuses, and I'm not. I'm not. Everyone who has read Tolkien's Second Age material, the Akalabeth from the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, which is probably going to be where most of their material for this television series is going to come from, to be quite frankly. And as I said, this was always going to happen. Amazon was always going to have this out, because uninformed people were going to be like, you can't have non-white people in Middle-earth. I looked up these quotes by Tolkien, and he says he's making an Anglo-Saxon mythology, and they don't understand the context. Context denial is everywhere. And a lot of people don't understand that this has always been the intention of my Twitter account, is to bring forward the context of Tolkien himself. The context denial by both sides here is awful, and it's disgusting. Look at that thread from their casting decisions. No one on that thread has any idea what the hell they are talking about. None of them. No one. It's disgusting. And to be quite honest, it makes me almost trust Amazon more than people outside of them. I question the ability of the so-called Tolkien fan to accurately understand and care about what they claim to actually like and what they claim to actually be a fan of. Because whether they're a liberal modernist Tolkien fan, or whether they are a reactionary right-wing Tolkien fan, they don't ever seem to give a crap about context. Neither one of them. And this is going to be your downfall, because you're going to sit there and you're going to shout at Amazon, you can't do this, and they will go, oh yes we can. And they're going to pick up their copies, every single one of these people, and they're going to beat you over the head with textual evidence. And you're going to know that they're right. And you're going to have no out. And you will be caught in a lie. And you may not like it. I don't like it. But it's the fact of the situation. And instead of sitting there and moaning about this stuff happening, you need to understand that Tolkien is Tolkien. You need to understand that this isn't Marvel. This isn't Star Wars. This isn't something that has become this idea of creation by committee. And that even if these people make adaptations, this is nothing. That's still not Middle-earth. That's still not Tolkien. And the true Tolkien fan who really wants to defend his legacy, this should be the way that they approach this stuff. Of understanding that this was the work of a singular man. A single mythology by a single man. This has always been Middle-earth. This is the angle in which you should attack this stuff from. The angle of no adaptations, I don't care. Let the public, let the normal public have their adaptation. Let them have it. Who cares? These people already don't care about Tolkien. These people aren't going to even read the Silmarillion. These people probably have barely even read, or not even read at all, The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. It's been self-admitted time and time again all over the internet. I've seen this be admitted. Have you actually read Tolkien? No, actually I haven't. And that's actually what we need to call it. Of these people to get to the originals, get to Tolkien. That you're not going to understand Middle-earth until you actually get to him. You can't go through Jackson. You can't go through Amazon. You can't go through video games. You have to go to Tolkien. And I'm sorry for this being a rambling mess, but I'm not writing a script or anything like that. And I have my counter here says that I've been going for about 11 minutes, and that's all I have really to spare here for right now. I'll do something that's a little bit more structured in its critique later, but this is all I have to say for now. So that's it for me from now, everyone. You'll hear from me later.